I wanted to do a quick short here on this guy. So in 2022, around May, we started considering doing our service meter out to the pole, getting our temporary service to the house. I have another temporary service out for our barn where our camper is right now. So we have electric over there. Never expecting to have a back order such as this. So what you see here is a 400 amp, also known as a 320A meter socket. So with all the shortages happening and everything going on, I quickly discovered I was on a 6-month back order. I was told September was my due date for this guy to come in. Well, September quickly came, so did November. No meter socket. We're getting into the cold weather. I need to get electric in the house to obviously continue working, keep power going for my heat and everything else. Panic starts to set in. I start calling a few of my friends, electricians, start calling around. Come across eBay. You see these guys here on eBay. Now these are roughly $400 to $500 for a 400 amp panel. Meter socket rather. I'm seeing them going for anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000 on eBay. So I start questioning this. I'm like, what's going on here? Quickly I find out the wholesalers, the electrical companies where you buy them, where the electricians go to, they buy things wholesale and they sell them for retail prices, of course. That's how they make their money, understandable. I find that there's such a backlog of these. What's happening is based on the size of the electrical company, they're allowed to order X amount. So if I have a big conglomerate company, I can order a whole bunch of these. If I'm a small mom and pop shop, I could probably order 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So I call last week to the wholesaler and I say, what's going on? And you know, I told them my scenario here. I have until this April to get my certificate of occupancy for the house, so my mortgage can convert and I can lock in my rate I have. I have a real good rate based on current prices, current rates. We're under 4 and currently I guess it's up over 12. So if we don't get our lock-in by April, we end up, when we do get the certificate of occupancy, we get the current rate. We just can't do that. It's crazy. So I explained to the person I was talking to in the company my situation, how I really needed this for the cold weather, everything else. Long story short, he ended up slipping and telling me that, you know, it's based on how many people are in line and who's got them coming in. He says, we have like 38 coming in out of 380 ordered. And that kind of put a light bulb in my mind based on what I just stated. You know, you're a large company, you order a whole bunch of them, they come in, they put a couple on the shelf, they put a couple out to the jobs, and they put a couple up on eBay to make some good money. Meanwhile, here I am, the homeowner, struggling to get electric for my premise here. I said to him, I said, do me a favor, can you look on the computer and see who's got what coming in next? Can I please have their information? I'll pay them for my meter that's going to be coming in. By the way, it turned out to be 18 months, which would bring me to next, what was it, next November or something like that. I said, I'll give him mine, buy it, and I'll buy his that's coming in, say, next week, so I can get my electric. That's how desperate I am to get this going, to get my CO, and so forth. So I hear him typing on the computer, hemming and hawing. He says, you know what? I can't do anything for you at this point, but I'll tell you what, I'll make a call, see what I can do. So I said, fine. He calls me that afternoon. He says, you ready for the good news or the bad news? And I says, obviously, I need all good news. So he comes back and says, I have one here for you. So clearly these companies are ordering them by the loads, whatever they can get, whatever they're allowed to do. They come in, shelves, eBay, and this is what's happening in the industry right now. So what I ended up doing is I ended up buying this guy that came in from the other gentleman that was kind enough to do it for me. And then I bought one for him for doing this trade for me. So he made out still, he helped me out, but just beware, if you're preparing to build early this year, or anytime this year for that matter, for what I see, you're going to have the same problem I have. This is a kind of a rarity. It's not your run-of-the-mill 100 amp, 200 amp meter socket. If you're doing a bigger house like this is almost 5,000 square feet, you're probably going to need something bigger like this. So just beware. Start looking for one. If you're serious and you got your construction loan, you're at that point, get one on order now if you want it by the end of the year, if you're lucky. I was fortunate enough to have somebody give me that break to get this, so it's unbelievable. There's really nothing to this. It's a tin can. I don't see why we can't make this in the US. I mean, come on. We have plenty of manufacturing plants that want the work. So this is kind of like the monopoly that I see going on. If I open this up, look what's inside here. A couple bolts, a couple tie-on points, a meter socket, and a backing of plastic. How much could it take to make one of these, you know? And this is the problem we've had since the pandemic. So I don't see what all this holdup is and shortage, supply and demand, and oh, we didn't expect this to happen, and all of a sudden everybody wants them. Well, let's get going, people. Let's get to work. You know, that's where I'm at with this. This is just, it's crazy. This is one of the hardest times I've ever had. I've renovated houses, I've updated them, never built brand new, and I figure I'm in my 50s now, it's now or never. So here I am building and going through the struggles. So I wish you guys the best. If you're in a predicament like me, or if you're planning, here's your forewarning, meter socket, look into it now. Guys, have a great day. I hope I gave you some good information about meter sockets. January 2023. Have a good one.